Bill Marnie, over to Andrew for the first question.
Warren, can we just start the check? Health, bumps and bruises, was there anyone unavailable for selection?
There's a couple. I think Joe Marler's got a HIA and a couple of players with a couple of tight things. Justin Tippett's got a bit of a tight hamstring. That's about it. Yeah, nothing serious. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you've named you 23. What was it that was up your sleeve then? All that time, you've got it together, and you picked an interesting side. Liam Williams, for instance, you were saying last week he was a winger, and there he is at fullback.
I said, in my opinion, I think winger's his best position because he can get involved in the game a lot. But I've also been consistent in saying that selection would come down to form, and the players that played on Tuesday night still had an opportunity to go impress, and he did that. He was elusive. He caused the Chiefs a lot of damage. Played well, and so he's been given an opportunity at 15.
At what point did this 15 come into your mind? How much, if you like, has it changed over the last couple of weeks?
It came into our minds on Wednesday when we picked the team. That was we've had obviously a couple of good performances from players and players. I think most people, when they've picked the team, they've been pretty consistent on the squad, whether it's been 12 or 13 of the same players consistently, and a couple of players that there was some good healthy debate about, and obviously it was the back three. But the message to the players, and before we left the UK and Ireland, was that to come out to New Zealand to play the All Blacks, you have to be bold, you have to take risks, and we've been saying that to the players and encouraging them to. Yeah, we're playing to a structure, as every team does play to a structure, but having the confidence and the ability to bring an offloading game in when it's appropriate. And we've been trying to do that, not always effectively, but we think we've seen some development in that and some improvement, and get a couple of nice examples on Tuesday night of that coming together. So we know we've got to be courageous coming here. We know we've got to be bold, and we've got to go and play some positive rugby. The things that we've been working on in terms of our general stuff, in terms of our set piece, we think that's getting better and stronger from game to game. Defensively, we think we've improved, and now we just need to bring the other elements of the game, which is about playing with some flair, taking some risks, and being courageous and bold. And that's the way to beat the All Blacks.
A word about the man next to you who's going to lead this Test match.
Yeah, Peter's done a good job, and we had a first chat today really. So, but he's lucky enough; he's got a lot of experience around him, and we've been very pleased with the players that sort of micro chat within the squad about players contributing to the talk, whether it's been a Sean O'Brien, Sam's been excellent, Alan Jones and George Cruz, and so a lot of leadership, Owen Farrell as well, a lot of leadership within the group, but not people talking for the sake of it. There's not white noise, it's clarity, and it's succinct, and so Peter's going to concentrate on doing his job, which he does well, but he'll get plenty of support from other players too.
And Peter, you will lead the side in the Test match. Just talk me through how you feel.
Yeah, look, huge honour. As I said before the Maori game, it's incredible to be picked for the Lions, and then to be asked to captain them obviously is a huge honour. But now it's down to business now, and it's down to a performance from the 23 guys that are picked, and it's a mind shift. You take in the fact you're selected, and then now it's on to the job.
Obviously the back row's kind of established itself. How useful has that been to play together as a three over those last few minutes?
Yeah, look, it's been great. I thought Toby's been probably the outstanding player so far. He's played incredibly well. Sean, he's carrying it really well. He's getting back into it. So it's been nice to play alongside two players such calibre, and as you said, get some game time together and gel together. It's been good.
Peter, how enormous is the task of taking on New Zealand in their backyard once another night?
Look, it's a huge task. Obviously, the calibre player they have. Obviously, their record. Their record in Eden Park obviously is impressive, but look, it's going to be a different animal the weekend. It's going to be 20,000 odd Lions fans there. when you grow up playing rugby and watching rugby, these are days you want to be involved in, and you say that about international games, but games of this magnitude and the Lions, it's where all these players that have been picked at the weekend want to be and challenging against the best in the world.
And can you talk about training this morning? We were outside in the rain, but there was a lot of noise on the pitch. Seemed to be a lot of communication, a lot of excitement.
Yeah, look, there'd be something seriously wrong if there wasn't excitement this week. The week that's in it, guys are hopping off the ground to go. Even the guys who played Tuesday night, it's 48, not even 48 hours after the game, and they're out there getting stuck in as if they hadn't played. There's a huge amount of energy there. Guys are looking forward to getting back out, kicking on again from Tuesday, from a great performance on Tuesday, and getting back into learning and putting plans in action, obviously, for the weekend.
Warren, what are you expecting from your side? What will be required to beat New Zealand on Saturday night?
We've just got to be accurate for 80 minutes. We've got to stay alive. We know that there are periods during the game where they tend to almost like lull, and then they get one opportunity and switch, and they just ignite, and that's when the most dangerous. So we've just got to stay alive for every moment. Be prepared for anything. There'll be high tempo games. We're expecting that, obviously, with some of the players in terms of the offloading threats as well. But that's what these guys do, and I think the excitement that's been generated, and particularly in the last week or so, people are pretty excited about Saturday night, and we're definitely looking forward to it.
You said in the last couple of weeks that as this tour went on, this team were going to get better. I mean, is that reflected in your actual selection for the match?
Yeah, I think I'd like to think we've been consistent in the messages that we've been delivering about how tough it was when we first arrived, and that we would get better as the tour went on in terms of combinations. I think we've demonstrated that. I'd like to think that we said that we'd pick the team on form and players that are probably, there'd be a lot of differences from the start of the tour to now in terms of what people had speculated the side would be, and so I think the messages that we've tried to deliver have been consistent from us, and now that the 23 have been selected, we're pretty excited about Saturday night.
Peter, it's been an incredibly turbulent season for you and anyone involved in Munster because of what happened back in October. Just wonder how you've changed as a leader and as a man over the course of the season, and also whether ahead of the game you might have a moment and reflect on how very proud Anthony Foley would be of you as the Lions test captain.
You'd hope that he'd be proud, but look, obviously it's been a difficult season, but you try and take as much positives out of it as you can, and the experiences that I've had and that we've had and that the 41 have had over the last few weeks. It's about growing and taking those experiences and try and move on and learn from them and take the positives from everything, and I suppose everything in perspective as well. So you try and take all that out of it, but at the end of the day, it's the Lions against the All Blacks on Saturday, and you've got to use everything that you've had not over the last 12 months, over your entire rugby career, and try and use it all for Saturday, and that's just not me. It's the 23 that's been picked. I mean, there's guys who are hugely disappointed, but are out there today training their hearts out to try and prepare the team as best they can, and everyone's going to roll in behind us.
Miles?
Warren, all things considered, in view of the preparation time for the tour, are you in a better place than you thought you'd be at this stage, or about where?
We're pretty happy with where we're at the moment. I think we've the players have worked incredibly hard, and they've demonstrated, and their whole focus has been about improving from game to game, and arriving at the first test in pretty good shape. So we think we're in a healthy state, but we're under no illusion about how difficult the challenge is going to be on Saturday night against the best team in the world. With their record at home, and particularly in Eden Park since 1994, it's going to be a step up to anything that we have experienced. But we're pleased with our own progress within the team, and development that's gone on in the last few weeks as a group of players.
In the ideal world, would you like another week, or is that
Oh, you're always greedy, aren't you? You always want more time together to prepare. But you know, we've known what it is, and we've tried to deal with the adversities in terms of preparation time as much as we possibly could. But you know, we think we've made in a short period of time a lot of progress, and you know, trying to give a group of players, everyone, an opportunity to impress. And some people have been lucky, and that's what happens on the Lions tour. Sometimes you get one chance or two chances to make a name, and then you get selected in the side. And for other players, they haven't, for whatever reason, haven't had that opportunity, or they've had a slight niggle and haven't had a chance. And but you know, sometimes that's the way it is. And but like I said, this group of players, they've got an opportunity on Saturday night to go and do something hopefully pretty special.
Warren, what does this Test series mean for you as a person? You're the first Kiwi to coach the Lions against the All Blacks. Most of your career as a coach has been overseas, and you know that the New Zealand public's a little bit one-eyed and myopic and doesn't quite understand what's going on overseas. Is this an opportunity for you to show your worth as much as it is the players?
No, this is not about me at all. You know, this is about the Lions and about this group of players, and I'm incredibly passionate about the Lions. I think it's something that we need to protect for the future. You know, and I think going forward in terms of the agreements that's been done between the Sanzo countries and the Lions, you know, we need to make sure that if the Lions are going to be successful, they need adequate preparation time, and they need to, you know, the adequate number of games in terms of before the tests as well. We took on an incredibly tough challenge in terms of the schedule, the opposition that we faced. Nothing that the Lions have ever had to do in the past in terms of quality of midweek teams. You know, where if you're honest and look at the past, I mean, sometimes midweek teams have been just a bit of a frolic and a run around because the opposition haven't been tested, but we've been tested every step of the way. And for me, this is wanting this group of players to do a great job for the Lions and their future and as much about the heritage as well, because I think if we can protect this iconic brand, make it strong and healthy, then I think we can all benefit from it in the future.
So there's no personal level of satisfaction that might come from winning at home?
No, I'm not thinking about it. I want to do the best that I can for this group of players, and so that, to me, that's the most important thing. It's about not trying to get one up on anyone, not worrying about coming home and doing it. It's about being as successful as we can for this group of players and I said for this brand.
Thanks, Jim.
Warren, speaking of one-ups, Hanson's had a few cracks at you this week. I'm sure you've probably noticed. Do you think he's trying to get inside your head a little bit?
Well, what cracks has he had?
They had another one this morning, actually. You using the media to discuss red calls and that kind of thing.
To discuss what?
Referees calls.
Oh, okay. Right. Well, if I'm getting up his nose, and then that's a nice position to be in. Look, I'm not worried about what Steve. We're concentrating on ourselves, and he can say whatever he likes in the media. I haven't.
Do you think he's worried? Do you think he's worried what he's going to face on Saturday?
I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about Steve at all. So we've got ourselves to prepare and get ready. We know it's going to be a tough encounter, and as I said on Tuesday night, let's let the rugby do the talking, because there's been enough trash talk already, and I think for all of us, get excited about this. Could be a fantastic series for both the Lions and for New Zealand rugby and for the New Zealand public. And you know, unfortunately, I think there's been a couple of sideline things that have taken the focus away from that, because wherever we've been in New Zealand, the welcome's been unbelievable, the hospitality's been awesome, and I'm kind of we're getting a different message as a squad of players in terms of that welcome than sometimes what we're reading in the media.
Warren, you're attempting to do what's already happened once before in history, way back in 1971. As a Kiwi guy growing up in that era, what did that line score mean to you? How did it resonate with you? What would be remembering that?
Well, you know, as an 8-year-old, and as Jim said, we were a bit one-eyed, and you know, I thought rugby was invented in New Zealand. You know, as growing up, and you know, I didn't think the All Blacks could ever been beaten, so it did have a kind of an impact on me in 1971 when the Lions beat the All Blacks in that series. And you know, it was the first time that I kind of realised that the game was played in other parts of the world as well. So, you know, I understand exactly the question he was asking before. So you look, it's 11 times. This is the 11th time I think the Lions have been to New Zealand. It's only been once before. It is tough because you're putting a group of players together in such a short period, and you're playing normally one of the top 3 teams in the world, and you're playing away from home, and the expectations are that you go and win. We're very, very pleased with the progress we've been making as a side, and we'd like to think we can go out there and play well on Saturday night, and let's hope it's a great game.
Liam and then Niall, please.
Warren, the Test series sort of builds a clash of styles. Talking about being courageous and taking risks and offloading, that sort of seems you don't see it that way.
In what way? What do you mean?
Well, I guess if you look at what happened with Mulligan, Crusaders, and the way that the Lions, the majority of your Test team played there, and then the way the All Blacks traditionally play, it would seem a distinct contrast. But you're encouraging your team to play with flair and offload. So maybe it won't be such a clash of styles there.
Did the Māori and Crusaders play with flair and offload? No. Look, we squeeze the life out of those 2 teams in those games, and we won't stop being aggressive defensively. And to play against the All Blacks, you've got to have a strong set piece, because they've always been traditionally very dominant in that area. They've always had a good scrum and good line out, so you need a platform to be able to work off to start with. And so, look, we've created opportunities, and early on the tour we weren't finishing off the line breaks that we had created, and it was pleasing to see on Tuesday night we started to finish off some of the chances that have been created. And like the message to the players will be go out and do that on Saturday night, create chances and hopefully finish them. But like, we won't be. I mean, a lot of people have speculated about the contrasting styles. I think we've played some good rugby. I think we've played some lovely rugby in terms of we struggled at the start of the tour, and I think we've scored 9 tries to 3 in the last 4 games or something like that. So we're starting to score tries, and but you can't. I can't fault the players if we're getting some success by dominating up front, and we're not going to go away from that. We're not going to be talked into playing barbarian type rugby when we've got certain weapons that we're able to use to our advantage, and that's been smart about the way you play, and hopefully we can be strong at set piece, strong defensively on the weekend, and when the opportunities arise we can get them behind the All Blacks and finish the opportunities that we create.
2 more please, Niall and then Nick.
Peter, in the minutes before the England game at this year's Six Nations game, could you ever have imagined that you would be a Lions Test captain almost 3 months to the day on?
No. Don't think so. That's the honest answer.
Nick.
Peter, just talking about Axel, I mean, for big games like this, what kind of advice do you give you guys, and can you draw any strength from that?
So
Just thinking about Anthony Axel, he's such a good big influence. I just wondered what sort of advice he would give you guys before a massive game.
Well, Axel was a rugby man, so he would have told us all to go out and play your game, play what you've been picked to do. You know what I mean? Play. You know what I mean? There's a reason it's 44 or 5 or whatever it is players have got selected on this Lions tour, and just go out and play the game that you know and that you've been picked for. You know what I mean? There's no point in trying to be someone you're not over here. You've been picked for a reason, and that's all he would have said. Go out and play as well as you can, because there's no one going to fault you for that. You know what I mean?